Hello everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is February 10th, 2025 and this is Flosstube video number 37. I am back with my weekly update for the week of February 3rd through February 9th. I don't have any stitching mail. I did run to Hobby Lobby last week to get the last two colors for project number 3. But that was it on my purchases. I've been really good this year. With the exception of that kit that I bought for my daughter. That's really all that and the supplies for my projects, but I haven't been on Mercari or eBay or all the other places and haven't been spending a lot of money. So I've been good this year. So far my resolutions are, I'm sticking to them. So project number 1 for me, I have 4 projects. If you're new to my channel, I have 4 projects, and 2 of the projects are designed so that when the fair rolls around, I have some pieces to enter into the county fair and the state fair. County fair is in June. I looked up the dates. I'm pretty sure it's in June. And the state fair, last year it was at the end of August into the beginning of September, but the dates kind of change. I'm pretty sure it's going to be roughly in August. So I have broken up my projects into 4 categories. So the first category is favorite designer, and it's personal. It's my personal favorite designers. Second category is Blackwork or sampler. Third category is wish list. And then the fourth category is Stashbuster. So favorite designer for me are Teresa Wentzler, Mirabilia, and Bella Filipina. I have also sort of opened that up to lavender and lace because I have enough patterns that I can add that into the rotation. So it was 3 favorite designers. Now it's kind of 4 just because I have a lot of the patterns. Well, not a lot, but I have more than 5. So that sort of puts it in the category. Apparently I love fancy ladies and blends is what it boils down to. So project number 1, favorite designer, is one of those that is designed to go into the fair because as they're my favorite designer, they're ones that I actually want to do and I would feel proud to enter them into the fair. So project number 1 for the month of February is Mirabilia, and I'm working on the August Peridot Fairy. Now I've said before, I was born in February. My name is the Peculiar Pisces. In fact, my birthday is coming up in just a couple of weeks, but the February fairy just didn't call to me. I don't know if it was the wings or the dress or what, but the August Peridot fairy is what called to me, and for my first Mirabilia, this is the one that I'm doing. So here is my progress. Now, Tuesday or Wednesday, I was getting to the skin area and I decided that I was going to do the skin. So everything else is stitched 2 strands over 2. The skin I'm doing 1 over 1. The Teresa Wentzler that I'm going to be doing in a couple of months calls for the skin to be 1 over 1. So I didn't want to learn how to do that on a Teresa Wentzler because hers is probably not going to be 1 over 1. Hers is probably going to be a blend of 2 skin colors over 1. And so I feel that I need to learn how to do the over 1. So I started doing 1 over 1 on her skin. So really what I'm doing is I'm going to come and I'm going to finish her arm, and then I'm going to have to count up because her wand the stick of her wand is like all beads. So I'm going to have to count up and then do the light from her wand. And I think it's going to land right in this yellowish patch, which is exactly what I wanted. Ish. I mean, I was sort of hoping it would be a little higher, but it's going to be where it is. So, of course, I forgot to say, this is BestitchMe fabric. It is 28 count. It is called Wild Bouquet. This is an opal fabric. Yeah. So, progress on project number 1. I'm really like happy with the progress on it. And I'm hoping that I can keep up this momentum because I might get the top quarter completely finished before February's over. Maybe. So then project number 2 is called Pentecost, and it is from Practical Blackwork. Project number 2 is either a Blackwork or a sampler. And again, this is designed for the fair. The state fair, no, the county fair has a Blackwork category, and then the state fair has a sampler category. So I started working on this last year and did not get it done in time. But this year, I'm really hoping to get it done. So this is Pentecost by Practical Blackwork. Here is my progress. So I believe the last time I showed it, I was in this area. I had maybe done up here, but I finished filling in these diamondy bits. Then I started working. You can see my string. Oh, apparently my string split while I was working on it, and I've got to tuck this in to switch to the string that broke. But here's where I am. I had to frog this area earlier in the week. The counting from doing it off the side wasn't quite working, so I frogged what I did, and then I went to this other side to try to finish this and bring it up. So I'm not quite sure what, maybe I just wasn't in the right kind of stitching mood and I miscounted, but yeah, so I did have to do it. Like, I was closer to up here and I had to do quite a bit of frogging. So like, I think I got to work on it like an hour and a half the one day that I like really put some time into it. And then the next time I picked it up, half the time I was frogging what I had already done and then trying to fix where I was. So this one, it's seen some attention, but it hasn't gotten as much attention as it previously had. Oh, and of course, I forgot to give you my time stats on both projects. I keep forgetting that. So the Mira for the week of February 3rd through February 9th, I put in 11 hours, 40 minutes, and 21 seconds, and it's brought my total project time to 17 hours, 6 minutes, and 59 seconds. And then for Pentecost, I only got to work on it an hour, 53 minutes, and 11 seconds, and that's brought my total project time to 86 hours, 56 minutes, and 52 seconds. Let me not put that on the floor so that I don't forget again. Oh, and Pentecost is 18 count Ada that I hand dyed myself, and it's 1/1. So project number 3 is wish list, and that's pretty subjective. At first, I was sort of just limiting it to websites that I would be on and if they had a wish list feature, because one of my favorite things to do is just add things to wish lists. I want a lot of things. So I did sort of change that and open it up so that it's more, there doesn't have to be a wish list feature, just as long as I looked at it and went, wow, I'd really like to do that someday. That's why I've said it's subjective. So project 3 is Waterfalls of Jade by Nene Thomas. Now, last week when I was trying to link to this particular pattern, I could not find it on her website at all. I tried Google searching to get to it, and every time I would try to work around, I would get to a page error or a page not found. So I guess Nene Thomas has taken this off of her website. I don't know if that means that she has it out on another website or licensing issues, because I know that this particular pattern is seen in puzzles and a lot of other things besides a print. So I don't know why this is no longer on her website, but I will just link to her cross-stitch section. Oh, if I could talk today. I will link this to the cross-stitch section so that you can look at what she does have available, because she does have a lot of different really cool patterns. That there are dragons, there are fairies, there are mermaids, there are dragons and mermaids, there are unicorns, there are, just a whole bunch of stuff. If you like fantasy, you will probably be really into Nene Thomas. So I am trying to do Stitchy Mommies. Let me move this back just a little bit. I'm trying to do Stitchy Mommy's typewriter method, where I start in the top left corner, pick a 10 by 10 block, stitch those, and use that thread color and try to work it out where it goes. Now, I am kind of in confetti hell right now. So I would only stitch it so far, and then I've sort of parked it for the time being because I don't want to miscount. And some of these are pretty far apart in where they land. But here is my progress for the past week. I don't know if you can tell in this top corner, but one of the flowers has finally emerged. And there's the flowers and tree branches and the start of some water in the waterfall. So there's really a lot going on, and there's a lot of colors just in this first 10 by 10 square. And I do sort of have into the next square going down. It's just because of the colors that got filled in. But once I finish out this square fully, I will move on to this next 10 by 10 square that's over here and try to stitch out the threads as far as I can until I park it logically so that I don't miscount, because this is not a pre-gridded fabric and I'm not confident enough in my own gridding skills in order to try to grid this. This is a 22 count fabric that I hand dyed myself. I did it in a Come Dye With Me video. And it's a really, really lovely shade of pink. And I really do like how it's turned out. So for that project, I got 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 37 seconds this past week, and that's brought my total project time to 4 hours, 10 minutes, and 23 seconds. And because this one is in Pattern Keeper, I can give you my stats on it. I am at 335 stitches complete out of 244,860, and I'm at 0.14%. Let me zoom out. So my progress is in this top little corner up here. Try to zoom in before. Okay. So that's as close as I can get you before it starts showing the actual pattern. But that's my progress. So it does look like I've gotten that top 10 by 10 square completed, and the current color that I'm on, I am trying to stitch this down a little bit, which is the green highlighted stuff. So I am trying to stitch it down a little bit before I move on to the next 10 by 10 square while I'll be focusing. And my goal is to stitch it across to the other edge before I work on the next 10 by 10 section. So 22 count. I told you my time. And I showed you pattern. Okay. So the last project is the Stashbuster piece. And for that one, it's pieces in my stash. A lot of them are kits that I've been carrying around forever. Some of it is stuff that I purchased last year, because last year I was bad. I was all over Mercari last year, and I was constantly buying either more Teresa Wenslers or cute pattern, like cute kits that, you know, caught my eye. Or in the case of January's stash piece, I purposely bought it because I had started working on that back when I was in high school, and I'm positive I only got about halfway through, and I have no idea where I lost it, whether it was a move or if it's just hanging out at my grandparents' house somewhere, or, you know, maybe my mom has it. I mean, I have no idea where it is, and nobody's called me to be like, hey, I found this cross stitch kit. Do you think that it's yours? You know, nobody's done that. So I'm assuming that it got lost in a move. So project for my stash piece, this is actually not one that has been in my possession for long. I purchased this last year off of Mercari, but it is the Indian peacock. Now, peacocks, hummingbirds, those are my favorite types of birds. I like those, and I tend to gravitate towards them. So I am doing this Indian peacock, which is a dimensions kit. It's not like a dimensions gold or anything. It's just the regular dimensions line. Sorry, I'm trying to. This is not full coverage, but it's almost full coverage. When I look at the pattern, only a little bit of areas are not stitched. And it's the same thing on the other side. There's just a few areas that are not stitched. So there's more stitching than not stitching. So this is the one that it sits in my car all week long. And when I'm waiting for the kids to get out of school, or if I have a doctor's appointment or something where I'm like sitting in a waiting room, I take this with me. Gymnastics, it's been seeing a lot of work on it. So here is my current progress on this piece. And I don't know if you can tell. I can't tell from just looking in the camera, and I'm sure that it's the lighting, but there is stitching here. It's a tealish color, but it doesn't, as I'm looking in my camera screen, it's not picking up very well. But there's a bunch of half stitches here in this section, and then it starts into like a plant. So there's tans. Oh, my scissors are just stuck right to it. That's sort of what I do. The piece that's down here holding it together. My scissors are magnetic, so I just sort of stick my scissors to it so I don't lose them. But of course, you can't see very well when the scissors are in the way. So that is my progress. Like I said, I worked on this and bringing it up, and I'm working on filling in the browns and the purples and the spots in the peacock eyes. Not eyes, but the eye of the feather. So, yeah, that is my progress for the past week. Oh, there is one more thing that I worked on. Hold on. Okay, so the last thing crafty that I worked on was the diamond painting that I've showed you before. And not much progress since the last time I showed it. I did finish out the section over here, which was where I was the last time I showed it. And then I pulled this section up, as you can see, and I'm starting to work in here. Not completely finished, but it's coming along. So, yeah. It's been a full stitchy week, and on Sunday, before the Super Bowl happened, I had a chance to work on my diamond art. So that's been my week, my stitchy week, my crafting week. I don't want to bend that. I don't know if I showed it the last time, but I have this case. I'm not sure if I bought this at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I almost think that I got this at the Hobby Lobby when we lived in Arizona. I just can't quite remember. But I really liked it because not only did it have the snaps for keeping it together, but it has these little bead trays and it locks in place. So like I have to push the little button on the side in order to open it up. And I really liked that it had that locking feature, but they're just normal trays. And so what I did is I took the numbers that were on the baggies and I just taped them to the top. And I really liked this particular case because it had 4 of these on each side, giving me a total of 8. And I actually have, like, there's some in this, but I still had some open sections for the drills. I don't know why I called it a bead earlier. And I really like this case. I have no idea if they still make them or if they can still be purchased at the craft store, but I really do like this tray. And there's enough space in here that I can have my tools, my little tray, my pen thing, the little wax thing. I have that all in here that I can just close it up and snap it into place. And then like they don't fall out the bottom. So I really do like this case that I don't remember where I purchased it from. I know I purchased it back about the time that I bought the diamond painting, which would have been early 2020, right before COVID shutdowns happened. I was working for a newspaper company at the time, and my husband was really getting ready to deploy. Like, he was supposed to deploy in mid-March. And my job wasn't working with me to change my schedule so that I could work more during the day, and then be home for my kids at night. With newspaper companies, you work pretty late hours to get tomorrow's news out today, kind of deal. And like, they weren't, and I know why they weren't working with me. It's they didn't have a position in the mornings available because there's no newspapers that had a deadline before 3 p.m. And I get that. So they just kept my schedule the same as how it was. And I think they were just sort of expecting me to try to get some sort of, childcare, but nobody's going to do childcare till 11 o'clock at night. So I ended up having to quit that job, which was unfortunate because I did enjoy working there. And my husband was supposed to deploy, like I said, in early March. And so in preparation for like me not having like work, and at the time I was going to start like driving Uber or Uber Eats. Like, I was going to do whatever we all needed to during COVID to, get work. And it turned out my husband didn't deploy when he was supposed to because of COVID. And um, I had already like quit my job. So like I ordered the diamond art off of AliExpress, and then whenever it came and everything was in these little baggies that weren't even Ziploc baggies, I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I went shopping somewhere. It was either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but I highly, highly suspect Hobby Lobby because I've not seen anything even remotely close to this at Michael's since. So I'm going to vote that this probably came from Hobby Lobby. But that's it. That's my update for this past week. Nothing new, I should say. Yeah, so next week, next week is President's Day on Monday. And my kids are definitely off on Monday. So I will not be filming my regular update on Monday. I will wait until Tuesday. With it being President's Day, I expect that not only are my kids home, but my husband should also be home. And so I really won't have the time to film. So Tuesday of next week, and then I'm not sure about the following week. We'll have to play the following week by ear because the following week is my birthday week. Next week is my husband's birthday week, and then the following week is my birthday week. So I will have to play the updates by ear after that, but next week for sure I will be updating on Tuesday. So with that, I will see everyone next week.